Hey, welcome back to Piece of Chaos. So it's been a couple weeks. Sorry about that. Just getting it in under the wire here to fill out January, but man, it flies by. My excuse for not putting up an episode the last couple weeks is that we've been doing some fun things here at the old household. My daughter turned 16, and it is a huge milestone. It is a huge difference in life that, I thought I would be more freaked out about, quite honestly. I thought that I would dread it or something, but it just seems like a natural progression, which is very odd. I was not expecting that, but they take. It's way different than when we were kids. I feel like they just kind of threw us to the wolves. You could take driving lessons, but it wasn't absolutely mandated or anything. It was just kind of you go figure it out, and you go get your license when you turn 16. I think you could do it the day you turn 16 if you wanted to. And I remember for me, it was when I turned 15 and a half, I got my permit, and then I was driving around and practicing and all that stuff. But I think there was, it was funny that you didn't need to take driving lessons, but I think at the time my mom really wanted me to take driving lessons just to be sure. And so we signed up for like one lesson, and I'll never forget that I was waiting for the guy to show up, and he literally drove up on my lawn when he showed up. He may have been hammered. I have no idea. But so we went for a driving lesson, and his biggest lesson of the driving lesson was to basically look out for everybody all the time because they'll crash you. That was what he told me, is that watch out because they'll crash you. So, that was my driving lesson. Then I just started driving. And I remember I put a really big bet out there on myself. I feel like I was going to take my driving lesson. Well, I had two failures at taking my driver's lessons. I didn't fail the test, but like I was going to take it on a Monday. And I arranged for, my grandfather to take me to go to the driver's lesson or driving test because both my parents were working. And he was like, "Are you sure they're open? Are you sure they're open?" I was like, "Yeah, why wouldn't they be open?" And it happened to be snowing that day. Really bad storm. And he hated driving in the snow. But he was like, "Well, you're off school or whatever." And I was like, "Perfect. I'm off school. I can go take my test." But I mean, there was no internet. I guess there was a phone number I could have called or something. But he picked me up, and we drove all the way up there in the snow. We get there, and they're closed, I guess, because they're always closed on Monday. So that was failure number one. And then I guess a couple days later, I had made arrangements to go get my driver's license test, and I sprained my right ankle really bad. So I had to cancel because I couldn't push the brakes or the gas, really. My right foot was immobilized. So after 2 false starts, I finally knew that I was going to go get my driver's license, and I put a big bet on myself to pass the test the first time by asking a girl out on a date for the following Saturday. So if I was taking the test on Saturday afternoon, I had a date that Saturday night, and it was a car date. And I've been thinking about this. First of all, that means that her parents trusted that I could, with less than a day having my driver's license, that it was okay that I could pick her up and go on a date. And it was a double date with my buddy and his girlfriend. And so I had to pass that test because I had a date. But I remember when I got my license, it was so much pressure and such a nerve-wracking experience that I passed, but then I didn't even want to drive home. I was just I had to recover, so I let my dad drive home. But then I geared up for the date and all that stuff. And it was fun. I passed and whatever. But I mean, literally, that's how it was. That day, I was out there driving my friend, his girlfriend, and a girl I was dating out to the movies or whatever. It's a lot different now. They have to log hours. They have to, in California, they have to pay for driving school, like 6 hours of driving school, get certified, and then log 50 hours with their parents. And then they can't drive, I guess, it's like a Cinderella license or whatever. They can't drive past midnight or something like that. And they can't drive with their peers until they're 17, I think. So it's a lot stricter, and I think that's good that it's stricter. But yeah, it just seems like a natural evolution. You know, I have confidence in her, and you know, it's kind of like one of those things where like you got to just do it to get good at it. You just have to do it. You have to log the hours. We did all the stuff early when she first got her permit. You know, I wanted her to feel what it was like to slam on the brakes and emergency situations. It's actually really hard to make a car skid these days with the anti-lock brakes and stuff like that. So a lot safer than my turquoise 1972 AMC Gremlin that I was driving when I was 15, 16 or whatever. But so it's been a lot of activity around that, and you know, getting a car squared away and figuring out all that kind of stuff. So it's been a lot, plus birthday party and all that. So, hey, 3 in a month, not too bad. I'll try to keep it to 4 a month and hit it every week. But, hey, give ourselves a break, right? We can't always get to everything. So, also, this week, very exciting, the Philadelphia Eagles have made it to the Super Bowl yet again. For the 4th time in my lifetime, which is pretty cool. I really, they look good. They look like, you know, that they have a great chance. Patrick Mahomes, the KC Chiefs, and Andy Reid, of course, the former Philadelphia Eagles coach. Formidable opponent. And I think, you know, when we watch the KC game, I mean, Mahomes made some incredible throws. He's a incredible quarterback. It just doesn't seem like they have as many weapons as the Eagles. So it should be a good game. And I'm excited to watch it. And you know, hopefully we'll win. But I will say, and I've talked to a bunch of my friends, like my college roommate and stuff, that, you know, football fans, just other dudes my age who I know really love football. And we've all, I think, two things sort of changed our relationships with professional sports as we've gotten older, whether it's because of having kids or whatever. I cannot be as obsessed with it as I once was. I love it. I love to watch it. But there were years where I knew every single player. I knew, you know, everything that was happening all the time. I watched SportsCenter constantly. You know, same. I talked about this a little bit when the Phillies won the World Series, or were in the World Series this year. That I don't get to watch sports as much as I could, or spend as much time thinking about it. Responsibilities, kids, job, whatever. It just doesn't occupy the same space. Nevertheless, I'm very excited to watch the Eagles in the Super Bowl, and I think it's going to be great. It's going to be fun. But I think, also, in addition to it changing my relationship with professional sports, once the Eagles won the Super Bowl, it's almost like the air was let out of this like need to win. I mean, I feel like we're back in it already, and that's amazing. But it's almost like, well, of course they are. They're a great team. You know, all those years with McNabb and Andy Reid going to the championship games every year and going to the playoffs every year and then not making it. We're so close every time, and then we wouldn't get it. And there was just this unchecked need to finally win. And then they did, and it's like, whew, okay, I can relax now. We won the Super Bowl, so now this is just gravy. If we're gonna win and play in the Super Bowl, it's like we deserve to be here, and I think we should win, and I can't wait to watch it. They really dismantled the Giants, which was super fun. And they kind of dismantled the 49ers as well. That injury to Brock Purdy is unfortunate. He did have a great season, but that was rough. They literally couldn't throw the ball with him, and the backup to the backup was not impressive by any stretch. I think they said he'd been on 10 teams, and pretty evident. Obviously to be a quarterback at any level in the professional football league is an impressive feat, and I'm sure that he's, an incredible athlete, but you see a guy like that just get absolutely crushed when he has a chance to play versus players who have been in the league for, a long time, whether it's Tom Brady, Ben Roethlisberger, those types of guys who have been around and at a high level, performed at a high level, won Super Bowls, Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, these guys, there's just such a difference in an elite player versus, a guy who can just kind of step in and do okay. I think the Eagles, when they won the Super Bowl last time with Nick Foles, that's an impressive backup who can come in mid-season like he did and carry through and then win a Super Bowl. Unbelievable. It's a punishing sport. And also, it's a shame that the refs have such a big impact on these games. Missing that catch that wasn't a catch led to the Eagles scoring. From every angle, it looked like a catch. They got the playoff before they could challenge it, and that's the rules, and they played within the rules. But it is a shame when I think there was more flagrant stuff in the KC Bengals game. A lot of calls on roughing and unsportsmanlike conduct and out of bounds hits and stuff, and it didn't always kind of go fairly. But it's hard to say if there's some kind of conspiracy. I know that kind of floats around these days. All these guys break down the film and say how the game is fixed and all that stuff. And I don't know. Too much to chance. Too many things going on. I mean, there's holding on every play. They don't always call it. The tackles sort of have a false start on every play. They lift their back foot, but that's kind of the game. So it's fun. I'm looking forward to watching the Super Bowl, and I'm excited for all those young players. The Eagles really seem to be special this year. They really seem to have fun and get along. I think the Kelsey brothers in the Super Bowl is a super fun storyline that's going to be interesting to watch. So lots of stuff going on. And in addition, right before Christmas, we adopted a new dog. So that also takes a lot of time. And I've talked before on the podcast about how I have prioritized sleep. And I think when I started this podcast, probably was prior to me reading the book Why We Sleep by, I'll put the link in the show notes, Matthew Walker was his name, Dr. Matthew Walker, Why We Sleep. Man, that book blew me away, but it also changed my whole relationship with sleep and made me prioritize it. And in years past, I would probably fight right through, stay up late just to get a podcast out, recorded, but instead I just go to sleep. I don't even watch a lot of late night TV anymore like I used to, because the hour or two at night when I could get a couple hours of sleep, I choose that. And I think it definitely pays off. I definitely feel better as a result. I feel like, especially through the pandemic and now post-pandemic, if that's actually what this is, it's served me well from a health standpoint in terms of my immune system, my recovery. And so, yeah, I'm making excuses, and I'm sure you guys don't care. I appreciate you when you listen, and I'm happy you still check it out when it comes out. And I'll do my best to get it out every time. I do have a couple of guests booked, but they're a little bit farther out. So in a couple weeks, I have a couple of really good guests coming on, and I put in to get a really good guest. And if I get it, I'm going to be excited. I'm not gonna talk any more about it, but man, if I land this guest, I'm going to be really psyched. So lots of fun stuff coming up for Piece of Chaos. Getting into a lot of different authors these days, and I really want to talk to more of them. That's a little hint to the potential guest. But yeah, so that's where it's at. And I appreciate you listening to Piece of Chaos and taking your time out of your day to check it out. There's a couple of items coming up in the next month or so in terms of new books that I'm reading. I've decided to take a detour into fiction. I got a couple of fiction books, novels for Christmas, and I'm going to give those a shot. Most of my reading is usually nonfiction. And I talked about this before, the book, The Master and His Emissary, that just took me so long to read. And now I'm hoping that some fiction will allow me to breeze through a couple of books quickly and just take a little break from my brain for a little bit. So I'll give you guys some updates on that as it goes. But yeah, welcome to 2023. We made it. First month in the books, and looking forward to the next couple of weeks, and hearing from a couple of guests, and booking some fun shows on here. And yeah, please keep the emails coming, and I really appreciate them, and the downloads. And if you want to share with friends, let them know you got a little chunk of conversations you enjoy, or one of the guest episodes, and share them with friends or whatever. That'd be awesome. Write a review. I think now you have to follow or subscribe. Apple keeps changing it. It's I don't know. It doesn't matter in the grand scheme. It doesn't mean anything. But you mean something, and I appreciate you listening and checking this out. And more to come on the comedy scene. Have a couple of irons in the fire on building out a new comedy show, and starting to produce a new comedy show, which will also lead to more guests and things like that in the coming months. And my band, the Temple of the Dads, 90s cover band that I am in with Jacob Givens, we're working on some gigs in the next couple months, so we'll keep you updated on that as well. Lots of fun stuff. And yeah, so be well, take it easy. I'll probably talk to you one more time before the Super Bowl, but if I don't get to it, we're just all going to have to live with it, aren't we? So, all right, everybody, thank you so much for listening, and be well. Talk to you soon.
Should I try to resist when, baby, I know too well that I've got you under my skin? I'd sacrifice anything come what might for the sake